Alanna, Benjamin, Filthy Rich is coming on Fox very soon, next week. What is it about this show? Because it's so good.
So many twists and turns at every given moment. And that, I think, is something that we really are thirsty for right now. Mm-hmm. We're so in need of excitement and looking at given a keyhole into this family that has so many secrets, and on the surface comes across as this perfect, wealthy, Southern aristocratic dynasty. But when you peel the layers, when you go backstage, you realize how repugnant, unfortunately, these people really are. They're quite poor inside. Yes?
Exactly. And on this show, you two play mother and son. Tell us a little bit about your character and about your role.
Benjamin?
All right. So I play Antonio Rivera. He is one of the 3 illegitimate sons that the patriarch of this very wealthy Christian family has. And when he passes away, they are left in his will. So I come in, with trying to get a piece of the pie with my mother. And Antonio he's a single father, first and foremost, an MMA fighter. He's very soft-spoken, and he has this other side that thanks to his mom, he's able to tap into, and I think they make a very beautiful team together, which they have always had, since the beginning. They've always been uña y mugre, así se dice.
Sí, cómo no, absolutamente. It's a bond that they have that is, I basically sort of conditioned him to be a functionary and sort of this machine, if you will, when he gets in the ring. So whatever sort of mask he's wearing outside of the ring as this innocent, loving, impressionable young man, I mean, any kind of pain that he's ever endured explodes when he's on the ring. And I'm sort of the person that helps get him to that place. It sort of carbonates him before he's up there. And we've technically espoused each other based on the fact that his baby mama left. And so that kind of makes an interesting dynamic outside of the ring.
And this is the one thing that I loved about the show, because I saw 3 episodes of the show. And the one thing that it reminded me of was like all those great shows in the 80s, like
Sí.
Fest,
Como Dynasty.
Sí.
Sí.
It kind of brings me into that. And I was kind of like, what is it like to be in those roles and to be and kind of like in tribute of these types of shows?
To me, it's such a celebration of acting, because you really, really have to bring it every single time. These storylines are so heightened. The stakes are always so high that you have to bring it every single time the camera's rolling. Everything has to come from a very, very real angle. Otherwise, it will come across as over the top and hard to believe. So to ground these characters that seem hard to believe is sort of our biggest job. So Benjamin, how he is, practically not acting at all in any regard when the camera's rolling and just sort of saying these lines, it really, you become engrossed because you believe everything that comes out of his mouth. And I'm just there to feed him his lines.
I see it the other way around.
I look enough like him, they were like, yeah, she'll do.
No.
Why are to
I have to say, when I started working with Alanna, she is so, you are so I've never, natural is one thing, and then there's Alanna. You don't ever know when she's starting and when she's stopping, or she would be talking about maybe lunch or whatever, and then she'd say so this, and she'd start into practicing the lines with me, and I'd be like, are we doing this? It's just it's incredible to see that. I think the groundedness that I learned was from you.
Bless you.
And Benjamin, with Antonio's character, you playing Antonio, it's a very interesting character because you're trying to be an MMA. You're on the verge of going into the MMA and being an MMA fighter, but yet you're involved in the situation and you're looking after your son and you're trying to do what's best for your son. Mm-hmm. What is it about how much was it to pull into that role and to bring out what you really need to do, because you see two different sides of you in the show?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that even when I started, I guess also the nerves that this was my first job. I was having a sort of confusion at the beginning of like, what does he really want? Like, does he want to be this fighter for himself also? Like, does he want to feel significant, or is it really just like the way that he was, this is the way it is, and I have a little boy and this is what I know how to do? And I think I struggled with that concept at the beginning, and I think that at the end I realized that it's both of them. Definitely his little boy is the gasoline that keeps him going, and also his mom from the back, like just pushing him. But yeah, I think that was a very interesting dynamic. I don't know if I answered your question. I think I rambled on to
You did. You got it. There you go. It just shocks me that like this was your first job. Your first
yes, it was my first.
Because that was one thing that it doesn't come across on the screen.
Oh, thank you.
This was your first job, because I was like, where have I seen this guy before? Because he's really good, and I was like, you blew me away on that one. That was. That's something I didn't even know before coming in, was that this was your first job. And
it's been a crazy year for sure. And it's I remember when I even got the screen test, my manager was like, hey, it was like my first pilot season, and he was like, hey, you're screen testing for this, and I thought that meant I booked it. So I started celebrating in the office. I'm like, oh, thank you. And they're like, no, this is just another audition. I'm like, okay. Like, everything was so new to me, and like doing the pilot was new. And then I was so naive, I guess. I was like, oh, we're getting picked up, and everyone was like, that's not the way it goes. Like, you need to wait, and you need to. I'm like, it's just been a roller coaster of emotions, but really I'm just very grateful to have also I think that I came in as the new person, and I think everyone embraced it, and I'm so thankful for that. Especially Alanna and Kim and Malia really helped me, and everyone really. But I learned as I went, and I think it forced me to grow at an unbelievable pace there's no other way. Yeah.
Boot camp, yeah.
Yeah, boot camp. It was literally a boot camp. It was a master class in acting. That's what it was.
And to close everything up on this interview, this is definitely, especially since a lot of Latinos like shows like this, and they do very, very well on network TV. What can you tell our fan base, not only the Latinos, but everybody who's watching, to get them on board and to come watch Filthy Rich?
Oh, man. Sure.
I mean,
I think, yeah, sure, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Benjamin, please.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say that it's so interesting because there is so much drama, like, and like Alanna said, it's so heightened, but at the same time, there's so much humor in the show that it evolves into this like beautiful like family drama with so many twists and turns that you literally never know what's coming. Like, even when we would read the scripts of the next episode, I'd be like, oh, okay, so we're doing this now, and it's like, you literally, like, when you think you know what's gonna happen, you don't. Something else is gonna happen, and it just keeps you on your toes.
The Latinx culture by nature is just so passionate. And I think we are a race that just loves content. Yeah. We love content and specificity, and to peel the layers behind. When you think this person is like this, they go ahead and their actions speak otherwise. And there's always, the stakes are always very high. And I think that's something that does attract us, because we are a passionate people. And for these interesting intertwinings of family members and what people want, and just when that person does something else, says something, they do something else behind everyone's back. So you really do see all of the layers behind these people that on the surface come across as perfect, and behind closed doors they are pretty common and pretty vulgar, and that's what makes it so exciting and fun to watch.
I agree. So, Alanna, Benjamin, thank you so much for stopping with us. We really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to what this whole series is going to turn out.
It gets crazy.
Because this is another Fox series that you cannot miss.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for everything. Really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you so
sweetheart.
much, Michael. Thank you.
You will.